Okie dokie. Well, tonight's show is a repeat of the last show. We had all these technical issues and we couldn't record it. And we know that thousands of you watch the YouTube videos. So we just figured let's just do it again and cover a couple of different things. So the topic is our favorite. Well, it's my favorite. It's my second favorite sacrament, and it's confession. And I want to read you a couple of things for those married people and or people who have children, because you might need to be taking some of these to your next confession. Listen up, because there is an examination of conscience out there for married people. There is an examination of conscience out there for children, people who have children. There are ones for single people, for the 10 Commandments, and there's a few other ones. I can't think of, actually, I've got them right here. Hold on, I've got it right in front of me. Examination of conscience for in light of Catholic social teaching, and for young adults. Okay, but I am going to concentrate on a couple things for those married people and those who have kids. All right, here we go. What's up? What's up, Matt Beardsley? Listen up. I don't have the single ones here, but I don't know. Are you married? I'm not sure, dude. Anyway, okay. Have I cared for my spouse? Have I been generous with my time? Have I been affectionate and loving? Have I told my spouse that I love him or her? Have I been concerned about the spiritual well-being of my spouse? Have I listened to my spouse? Have I paid attention to his or her concerns, worries, and problems? Have I sought these out? Have I allowed resentments and bitterness toward my spouse to take root in my mind? Have I nurtured these? Have I forgiven my spouse for the wrongs he or she has committed against me? We are talking about forgiveness here. We need God's forgiveness. We need to forgive others. By the way, we did a previous show on that the week before last, so check that out. Have I allowed misunderstanding, miscommunication, or accidents to cause anger and mistrust? Have I nurtured critical and negative thoughts about my spouse? Have I manipulated my spouse in order to get my own way? Have I called my spouse harsh names or used language that is not respectful? Have I physically abused my spouse? Have I gossiped about my spouse? Were you out there having a glass of wine with your friend, ripping your husband or spouse or wife or whatever? Let's think about that. Have I undermined the authority and dignity of my spouse through disrespect and rebelliousness? Have I been moody and sullen? Have I bickered with my spouse out of stubbornness and selfishness? Have I lied or been deceitful to my spouse? Okay, here we get into some of the juicy stuff, some of the sexual stuff. So get your kids out of the room. Have I misused sexuality? Have I used sexual relations solely for my own selfish pleasure? Have I been too demanding in my desire for sexual fulfillment? Have I been loving and physically affectionate in my sexual relations, or have I used sex in a way that would be demeaning or disrespectful to my spouse? Have I refused sexual relations out of laziness, revenge, or manipulation? Have I refused to conceive children out of selfishness or material greed? Have I used artificial means of contraception? Have I had an abortion or encouraged others to have one? Have I masturbated? Have I flirted or fostered improper relationships with someone else, either in my mind, thoughts, actions, or words? Have I used pornography, books, magazines, or movies? Have I committed adultery? Have I misused drugs or alcohol? Have I been financially responsible? That's a pretty thorough list for married people. Now let's go on to responsibilities for children. Have I cared for the spiritual needs of my children? Have I been a shepherd and a guardian as God has appointed me? Have I tried to foster a Christian family where Jesus is Lord? Have I taught my children the gospel and the commandments of God? Have I prayed with them? Have I been persistent and courageous in my training and teaching? Have I disciplined them when necessary? Have I been lazy or apathetic? Have I talked with them to find out their problems, concerns, and fears? Have I been affectionate toward them? Have I hugged them and told them that I love them? Have I been impatient or frustrated with them? Have I been able to correct them out of love in order to teach them what is right and good? Have I treated them with respect? Have I spoken to them in a sarcastic or demeaning way? Have I held resentment against them? Have I forgiven them? Have I been of one heart and mind with my spouse in the upbringing of our children? Or have I allowed disagreements and dissension to disrupt the training, education, and discipline of our children? Have I undermined, I'm almost done. You're probably like, oh, geez, I better get a list going. Have I undermined the role of authority in the eyes of my children by speaking negatively against God, the church, my spouse, or others who hold legitimate authority over them? Have I been a good Christian witness to my children in what I say and do? Or do I demand one standard for them and another for myself? Have I been properly generous with my children regarding money and physical and material well-being? Have I been miserly? Have I been extravagant, thus spoiling them? Yeah, these are just 2 examinations of consciences that you can review. Go to the one about the 10 Commandments. Seek through the internet and you will find many different kinds of examination of consciences. And that is why confession is so important, because we sin. Even saints sinned 7 times a day. This is why my husband, well, he asks all the time, why do you go to confession every week? What are you doing? And I tell him all the time, dude, I am so aware of my sins. And even some that I'm not aware, when I go search out new examination of conscience documents that I can really check myself. And I bring it all in on a piece of paper with, a pen, writing it all down so that I don't forget. And I go every week because I just want to be as holy and as clean as possible when I receive Jesus in the Eucharist at Mass every day. So confession is a big deal. I had my massive conversion when I went after being away from the church for 26 years. Many mortal sins on my soul, ones that I didn't even know I had, were there. And it was a game changer. It was a supernatural, out-of-body God moment. And everything changed. And that was 7 years ago, Divine Mercy Sunday. So confession has a awesome, incredible part in my heart and on my journey. And God just converted me in that confessional. So don't be afraid. Watch our show tonight, radiomaria.us, or shouldn't say watch, you got to listen to it. You can listen to it on the radio or you can stream it live, radiomaria.us, top of the hour, 9 o'clock Central, and or keep an eye peeled. Hopefully we won't have any technical issues and we'll bring this to you on Queen of Peace Media, which is the YouTube channel that we've got about 53, 54-ish other episodes because we've been at this for a year. Love you all. Thank you for your love and support. I will pray for you. Get your butt to confession. And I'm going to leave you now. And don't forget to tune in. Love you. Go to confession. God loves you. That's what it's all about. It's not about punishment. He just loves you. And by the way, heaven celebrates when you go. Okay. Have a blessed night. Take care.